This is the top 5 scores of 2022. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's AJ Good here at the House of Masks, and in today's video we are taking a look at my top 5 scores from 2022. Now, I probably don't need to brag too much about how crazy this year has been. I probably don't need to, but I'm gonna. What a fucking year. Experiences, places traveled, love lost, health scares, the greatest moments of my life, making new friends, crazy brand deals. You name it, it probably happened to me in 2022, and boy oh boy, can I honestly say that this went from one of my worst years on planet Earth, actually definitely my worst year on planet Earth. I absolutely fucking hated the beginning of 2022. But we ended it in the best possible way, and I can honestly say that like the last 6 months of 2022 have been the best days of my life. Best year of my life, hands down, and that's even with all the shitty stuff. Now, I have a best of 2022 video coming out on New Year's Eve. It's probably the most emotional video that this channel has ever had. I really hope that you guys check that out, so I really am not going to dive too deep into 2022 as a whole. I don't need to tell you guys that I threw a concert with Sid Wilson, or that I got my first ever stage use Slipknot mask, or my second ever stage use Slipknot mask, or my third ever stage use Slipknot mask. I don't need to tell you guys about Pale Fest. I don't need to go into detail about all of this stuff. I have a video coming out that is going to highlight all of that, and I think that you guys are really going to enjoy it. I think the first time that I watched it all the way through, I almost shed a tear. However, in this video, we are going to go over something very specific, and that is my favorite scores of the year. Now, obviously, this has been one of, if not the craziest year for scores, just crazy items that I've been able to bring into the museum, and making this list was actually pretty difficult because of that. However, I sat down today, I went through my list over and over and over, and I've narrowed it down to my top 5 scores, and that's exactly what we're going to look at in today's video. Now, starting with the 5th best score and moving our way to the top spot, I will go ahead and grab that piece and show you guys what we've got at number 5. Just a second. Alright, in 5th place, and only in 5th place because of the simple fact that it is something of mine. It is an original AJ Good thing, not like a Gwar piece or a Slipknot piece or something like that. In 5th place, we've got my death masks, and I wasn't going to pick just one because they're all very special, so I've got my main 4 here. These are the 4 main ones that I've used for this year, although you guys have barely seen this one, and we've only just started really wearing this one. I think I debuted it for Thanksgiving, and this one has seen a couple photo shoots, but nothing super significant yet. So these two are still pretty new, although this one has a lot of wear and tear on it already. Definitely building a lot of character quickly, but these are the main 2 from 2022. Now, if you guys are familiar with this project, then you can tune out for this part, but I have to explain it just in case there's any new viewers, which I am assuming there are because this is coming out only a month after all of the Sid Wilson stuff, and that gave us a very substantial increase in subscribers in a very quick time. These are my death masks. Myself, as the curator and content creator here at the House of Masks, decided that I was sick of taking pictures with people at events like this. I just felt like a real goofball being a normal white dorky dude taking pictures with people like this with my normal face. It just wasn't really working for me. I didn't enjoy it. I just wasn't about it. So I figured, why not create my own look? And this was all the way back in 2016 when the channel really started to gain some attention. Fans started coming up to me at every concert and convention and public event that we did. So I decided I wanted a look. I wanted to look cool. My whole channel is about aesthetics, and I wanted my own. So we came up with a look back then, and I rocked that look for a long time. From 2016 until the end of 2021 last year. I did my final photo shoot with the Connor DeLess mask, and then we came up with this idea. Now, the death mask idea was Bishop Walker over at Paleface & Co.'s idea. I only hijacked it and turned it into what we have now. It was never supposed to be my new look. It all just kind of happened extremely naturally, and essentially what I wanted to do with this idea idea was have my face, a death mask, a cast of my own face with all of my heroes and idols and inspirations painted upon it. So essentially what I'm doing is taking the war paint from my heroes and giving them a nod on my face, because that's kind of what we do with this channel. I have piggybacked my way to the top because of these people. These inspirations and idols that I love so much have literally given me the ability to have a dream career that doesn't even make sense, and I figured the best way to honor them is to sport their paint on my face, because that's kind of what we are doing metaphorically with the channel. All I'm doing is showcasing and entertaining and educating based on stuff that they have done. Well, I guess that's not all we're doing, but that's mainly what the channel is about. You guys know what I'm saying. So it started with the John Rice look. This is a corpse paint look based directly on John Rice during his time in Behemoth, but I did see a drum cam recently where he is wearing something very, very similar. He has a very similar corpse paint as he did in the Behemoth days, and that was all the way back in like 2017, I think. I just really love John Rice. I think he's an incredible player, and I really, really like that look. So this was the first mask that I came up with in the death mask line. Next up, kind of a natural evolution, it is completely black and white, just like the John Rice look, is the Wes Borland look. I got super, super heavy into Limp Bizkit again this year in particular, and Wes Borland actually VIP'd me to a show earlier this year, which was super, super rad, and followed me on Instagram. Fucking awesome. So I figured why not honor him by doing my all-time favorite Wes Borland look, yet another corpse paint look, and both of these masks have changed pretty drastically in terms of picking up character. Since they are such a matte white look in the beginning, every time I take them out and put face paint on, it changes the mask a little bit, and this mask honestly just has kisses all over it. The kiss in the middle is from a man, but the other two most certainly are not, I swear. And I really, really love these. They have a lot of time and hours and experiences and memories in them, and you can clearly see that from the inside. There is just a ton of love, and I just figured that these two have definitely seen and done enough and served their time over the course of the last year. They've both seen numerous concerts, they've both seen numerous events. I wore them both at PaleFest. The list goes on, and I just don't want to see them get destroyed, so I've kind of set them to the side. I can't say that they'll never make an appearance again. I do really genuinely love these two, but I'm just kind of sick of taking them out and about. I really don't want anything bad to happen to them, which brings us to the two new ones. These are the ones that I've been wearing as of late, and again, they've got lots of love inside them already.
That's what she said.
But what we've got here is the Michelle Morgor copy. Michelle Morgor is an incredible artist in the special effects and makeup world, and she was one of my first online best friends, and honestly, she was the first person to ever give me a big break. I wasn't even the House of Masks yet, or maybe I had just become the House of Masks online back in 2014-ish, and I linked up with Michelle, and we did some artwork related stuff, and she just really believed in me for some reason. She saw what I was trying to do, and she had a massive, massive following, and she just shouted me out and had people come see me, and has always been a really good friend. And one of the first things that we ever connected on was this look that she did. I actually did a drawing of a makeup that she did that looked exactly like this. I gifted her that drawing, and that led to the first shout out and our friendship. So when I came up with this entire idea of the death mask line, I knew that I wanted this look to be one of them, and I reached out to Michelle and asked her if she would be the one to do the look, and she said yes, absolutely, and clearly she fucking killed it. This is one of the coolest masks ever. Absolutely love this design, and just over the course of it being used, it has changed. There is obviously some fake blood on it. I have done some little makeup touch-ups on it to kind of change certain shapes and whatnot, and I've really, really grown to love this mask. Not that I didn't love it when I first took it out of the box from Michelle, but I really, really enjoy wearing this one now. And it's a little different than these because this one actually has some color to it with the eyeshadow. So all around, it's a super special mask. The fact that not only is it based off of one of the first people to ever give me my big break, but also she was the one that ended up doing it for me is incredible. So I really, really love this piece. And that brings us to the last one that I'm going to show you guys today. I do have a few other random copies. I have an all-white copy and a flesh tone copy, but they're not really based on anything, and I don't really use them. So I'm not going to add them in here and stretch this section any longer than it needs to be. I think we've already kind of overstayed our welcome on the 5th score tier of this video. It feels really weird to talk for 10 minutes about the 5th score, but I really love these things, and I want to explain them fully. So the last one on this little list is going to be the newest copy. This is the Joey Jordison copy. Obviously, Joey is one of, if not my biggest inspiration ever, and I wanted to honor him by doing a very similar mask, not exact. I didn't want an exact copy. Much like these, they're not exact copies of anything in particular. They are just nods to those inspirations, and this one is probably the most different from any of the inspirations on this list. This is based loosely on his gold Redding / Leeds mask in 2002. Now, the reason that I picked that mask in particular is because it's one of the lesser known Joeys and one of the more interesting copies because it has gold.
I love gold!
Most of Joey's masks had black and white, and that was it, and some of them had red, but for the most part, that was it. There was never really any other colors in the mix. We did occasionally get some purple, some green, and some blue, but very, very, very minuscule amounts, and the gold Redding / Leeds Joey is just one of those ones that stands out to me. Unfortunately, everybody that sees this thinks it has something to do with gold dust, which it doesn't, and I'm not saying unfortunately because I dislike gold dust. I actually really like gold dust. That's just not what I'm going for. So I kind of mixed the corpse paint white with the gold Joey look, and this is what I came up with, and I've really enjoyed wearing this one as well. I wore it on Halloween with a witch hat and a jumpsuit, and it looked fucking sick. So yeah, these guys will probably take over for at least the first half of 2023, and as the other inspirations come and I decide to make more copies, that is what we will do. So that is the plan for right now. But yeah, at number 5 on my top scores of 2022, we have my death masks. Absolutely love these things, and I hope that you guys like them too. Everybody seems to really, really love the new look, the dark ages, if you will, and I've seen a lot of people that were inspired from this project itself, so it's super, super cool. Now, on to number 4. All right, in 4th place, this one was really, really hard to place this high up or low down on the totem. It was really hard to place this thing in 4th place because it is such a special, special piece, but the other ones just have a little bit more backstory or sentimental reasoning behind them. And you guys will see what I mean a little later on when we talk about those other pieces. But at number 4, him. This is the real deal, old school, stage used, Dave Brocky made him doll. And wow, what a motherfucking piece for the collection, good lord. By the way, all of the pieces on this list definitely have their own videos, so I won't be going as in detail as I could be. I'm actually just going to be scratching the surface with most of these pieces, so if you guys want to go check those out, make sure to go do so. They all have their own videos on the channel. But yes, the stage used him doll. This is something I never, ever, ever thought I would own. I reached out to the guy that owned it, and he said that he had it for 17 years and had no intentions of selling it, and then a year later he throws it up for auction, and I spent a lot of money to get it. But I knew what I was willing to spend, and what I was willing to spend to get this was about $3,000 more than what I paid. Regardless, we've got it here now, and this is something that I just can't believe that I own it. This is a Dave Brocky original. He made this thing from scratch, all completely by himself. You can definitely tell with the art style. Not only is it a cool Dave Brocky piece that he always had with him in the early 90s, but it's one of Gwar's most offensive pieces. It is a literal dead kid that they would do terrible things to on stage every single night, and in the early 90s, this was a shocking, shocking thing to see. Now, he's not in the greatest shape because he is literally older than I am, and obviously was very used and very abused every single night on stage for years and years, and all of that use and abuse added with the fact that he is so old has really started to catch up to him. But I do plan on salvaging this piece, just kind of getting it back to a regular state and then preserving it, and we won't have to worry about him anymore. I haven't done that yet because I have been so busy. Again, 2022 has been amazing, but I do plan on doing that, and I will film it in its entirety. But yeah, number 4, him. Fucking love this guy. Had to relocate for this one because in spot number 3 we have my real stage used .5 The Gray Chapter Sean Crahan clown mask. I guess we really didn't have to relocate for this, but I thought it was a nice change of scenery, and honestly I just didn't want to take this thing out of the case just to have to put it back in here and get it all resituated, because it actually is a big pain in the ass to get in the case and get in there right. So yeah, my stage used .5 The Gray Chapter clown. This was used in 2016, and this was technically my first stage used Slipknot mask. This one would later end up becoming my second stage used Slipknot mask, or maybe this one was technically my first, but we thought this one was my first. I don't know. You'll have to go watch the video on it to get all of the details and know exactly what I'm talking about. But for the sake of confusion, we're just going to say that this was my first real stage-used Slipknot mask, and obviously that holds a very special place in my heart because I've been after a stage-used Slipknot mask for like 25 years. Let's see, I'm 29, so what, 23 years. I don't know, math is hard. 20 plus years. Now, I've done multiple videos in the last few months on my real .5 clowns and other stage used masks, so we don't need to spend too much time on this. It should be pretty obvious why this one's on the list. I absolutely love this thing, and I would definitely try to save it if the building started to burn down. And you're probably wondering why this one isn't at spot number 1 if it was my first stage used Slipknot mask, and that is such a big deal, and that's because the other 2 stage used Slipknot masks that I got happen to have even more backstory behind them, making them just slightly more special than this one. And in spot number 2, we will head to the other side of the room and talk a little bit about my second stage used Slipknot mask and why it's in spot number 2. But in spot number 3, my real stage used .5 The Gray Chapter Sean Crahan clown mask. Alright, moving right on along to spot number 2. We have my stage used The Insofar Sid Wilson visor. Now, a lot of people out there are probably wondering how this thing managed to be in spot number 2 and beat that other mask, because this is more of a visor than a mask. It is just a piece from Sid Wilson's setup. On the Insofar era, he has multiple faces that he swaps out, so yes, it is a mask, but at the same time, that clown mask over there is obviously far more of a mask. So why did this visor beat the clown mask? Well, it's fairly simple. Not only is this my favorite piece of Sid Wilson's The Insofar look, which is probably my favorite iteration of Sid since the self-titled or Iowa days, but Sid Wilson himself sent me this. I still don't really know why Sid sent me this. I tried to ask him in the video that we shot here, but he is such a troll that I'll never get a straight answer out of him. It could be because I did him a favor a few days prior to him sending me this, or it could be just because we've become such good buddies over the last year or so. And he obviously gets what I'm about and what I'm doing, and maybe he just wanted to help out around the channel. I don't know, but regardless, Sid packed this thing up with his own bare hands, sent it to the House of Masks, and I absolutely love it and I cherish it. Again, this does have its own video. If you guys want to go check that out, it is not too far below this one. This just happened back in early November, I think. Maybe sometime in October, I don't really remember, but you guys should be able to find it fairly easily. And you guys can get the full scoop in that video. This is a top 5 list, so we kind of have to breeze right on through this stuff. But at spot number 2, my real The Insofar Sid Wilson visor. All right, we are at spot number 1, my favorite score of 2022. That is a big fucking deal. But first, I'm going to give you 5 honorable mentions, things that just didn't quite make the cut but are definitely up there in terms of sentimentality, in terms of value, in terms of overall kick-assness. Honorable mention number 1 is my real We Are Not Your Kind Corey mask that was gifted to me by Jason Baker from Tom Savini Studios. Obviously, it's a real We Are Not Your Kind Corey Taylor mask. That's pretty goddamn sick. Thanks, Jason. Honorable mention number 2, my real ring-worn Kane and imposter Kane mask. It might not be in the best shape, but that's because of the history behind the piece. It's a real Kane mask. Honorable mention number 3, my real Bozo Destructo mask straight from Don himself. It is his most used piece over the years, as he has used this thing since I think he said 1991 or 92. It's really hard to get the actual answer because the photos and the footage from back in those days don't really pinpoint when exactly a brand new mask debuted. However, he did use it from at least 1992 all the way until 2019, where he retired it for my channel and sent it off to live with me. Honorable mention number 4, my entire stage use set of Mudvayne suits from 2001. Used on the Merry Mayhem tour in the heyday of Mudvayne. We've got a full set of medical scrubs, which the medical looks from Mudvayne were always my favorite, so to own the Dr. Fuck-Off suit is a pretty fucking big deal to me. And honorable mention, number 5, my Fallen footwear shoes. Now, technically, I got the prototype copies in 2021, but the shoes themselves didn't release until 2022, and that's a dream come true, so obviously that's gotta be on the list. However, it's not really a mask or something that would really fit on this channel. You know what? Nah, fuck it. It's my list. The Fallen shoes are going on there. I got a signature shoe with my all-time favorite skateboard-related company, and I can say what I want about it. It's my channel. The signature House of Masks Fallen shoes are definitely on the list. Now, are you guys ready for my top score of 2022? I'm sure that at least half of you guys have already figured out exactly what it is, but if you haven't, still, in the box, because I haven't gotten a case for it yet, we have the Yin Video Used Sid Wilson Digi-Face mask. We're gonna go ahead and turn it on here and show you guys what it's all about, just in case you haven't seen it yet. And man, this one is my favorite score of 2022 for a multitude of reasons. Not only does this obviously hold some sort of crazy monetary value, I don't even know what a video used Slipknot mask would go for, but it's up there. But also aesthetically, this is one of my favorite things that Sid Wilson has ever done. I love this whole The Insofar era look. I love the robot shtick, and I really, really love this. And before I ever knew that I was getting this, because I didn't know that I was getting this until Sid Wilson was handing it to me, when the Yin music video dropped and I did my first reaction to it, I was praising Sid because Sid is so ahead of the curve and just has it figured out, and I was praising this mask and this look in particular. So fast forward a few months, Sid Wilson and I are throwing a concert together right here in Chillicothe, and Sid calls me up on stage, so I go up on stage and Sid Wilson gifts me the video used Yin music video mask with his face on it, and I'm the only one that has the real deal. I'm the only one that has these files because they came straight from Sid's iPhone, and this is just a big fucking deal for all of the reasons. Aesthetically, monetarily, badassery, and then obviously sentimentality. This thing just holds a very special place in my heart, and I have a really cool idea for the display. You guys will have to wait for that. It'll probably be in some sort of weekly Wednesday update video in the future, but for right now, I keep it put up and I keep it in the box because I obviously want to keep the box. And there's even like a charger and the instructions and stuff in there. Everything that Sid gave me is still with this. So yeah, this is definitely number 1. And I absolutely love this thing, and I can't thank Sid enough. He definitely knows how much this means to me because I probably drive him insane by saying thank you all the time. So there you have it, my top 5 scores of 2022. It was honestly a super difficult list to put together, not because I didn't have a lot of scores, but because I had so many. And not only did we have the quantity this year, we had the quality out the fucking butt. So it was just a really, really great year. What do you guys think of my list? What was your top 5 scores of the year? What were my top 5 scores of the year in your opinion? Drop any and all comments down below. I'm definitely looking forward to reading those, and I really appreciate you guys being here with me for the greatest year of my life. Definitely would not have been possible without you, so thank you very, very much. And with all of that being said, I think that's going to just about do it for today's video. So, until next time, this has been AJ Good here at the House of Masks telling you to say no to drugs and alcohol, and yes to top 5. And we will see you guys in the next one.